Well, hello, Sioux Falls. Good to have you back. I don't know if you can believe this, but this will be my last listening and learning session with all of you. Kind of a bittersweet time, but this is one I think you're really also going to enjoy. And yes, I think you're going to learn a little bit along the way as well. Sioux Falls, we've certainly had a lot of development over the last 8 years, 5 straight years of, record-breaking construction. This city now is 78 square miles in its size. All these good things that are happening. We've got new businesses that are sprouting up every day, new places to live, new places to work, and yes, new places to play. And we've talked about some of these places like, that hot corner where the new super Walmart is there on the southeast part of town. Of course, we always talk about the Empire Mall and the great things happening there. In fact, we've had a listening learning session out there. Our downtown is bustling, places like Dolly Farms and so much more. But Sioux Falls, I don't know if you've been here yet, but we're going to give you just a little tour of a place that is just going nuts. It's called Lake Lorraine. It is a development that really had a dream where now, my goodness, it is certainly a place to live, work, and play, really like no other in Sioux Falls. So I thought maybe in talking about this, I thought I'd bring in Jeff Schmidt, and Jeff is one of the people at the city that really does help kind of methodically plan how we're going to do development in our great city. And so, Jeffrey, I'm really interested in having you kick off the program, but maybe even before, I just would say, I've traveled the country, I've traveled the world, and I know I'm the proud mayor of Sioux Falls, but it seems like we know what we're doing when it comes to how we're planning things. I mean, it makes sense. So, Jeff, how do we do it?
Well, we try to have certain locations throughout the city of Sioux Falls where people can really shop and live and work at the same locations. But we didn't have this great synergy until recently, like you said. And when developers come to us and when businesses come to us, they need that synergy, because I think what people are really looking for is that community aspect of gathering. They want to gather. And when people listen to this and they watch you on TV, they understand that it used to be downtowns. Yeah. They used to be downtown. And then it was the mall, and they could gather at the mall. It's not just shopping, but they want that gathering experience, and they could stroll and they could have coffee. And now it's Lake Lorraine, because as you see today, it's the lake, it's the trail, they live here and they shop here and they have offices. It's a community gathering place. They don't just want to go and shop. They want a place to gather and have lunch and dinner and go to the concert, and they want all those things. And Lake Lorraine really had that vision to bring it forward.
But Jeff, this was a body of water. Yeah. In the middle of, I'm not going to say nowhere, but it was a body of water kind of hidden in our great city. And now, I don't know, it seems like 3 years, now we've got shopping, working, and playing. So how do you do it? How do you plan for that? When did this kind of vision for, let's say, at least Lake Lorraine, when did that start?
Sure. We had a 2015 plan that we put together, and then the 2040 plan. These are our long-range plans for where do we want land to be developed at, and we plan for it at this location because this is two major roadways, Marion Road and 26th Street, where we wanted it to happen. We knew 26th and Louise, but as that was developing, where do you place these areas next? Okay. What really happens is it has a lot of traffic. Developers come to us again, and especially people from outside of the state. They go, where's the most traffic? Okay. When it really comes down to it, there's 50,000 vehicles a day at Marion and 26th Street. 50,000 vehicles a day. And other than 41st and Louise, this is the corner.
You're kidding me.
There's not other corners around Sioux Falls that have 50,000 vehicles a day. And when you talk to people from, again, outside the state or something, they'll like, we want to know traffic volumes because those are customers. And if you can have a lot of customers, again, and you talk about this all the time, Mayor, there's 50,000 people that live west of the interstate. So that's a huge community in the state of South Dakota, but for Sioux Falls, 50,000 people that we've planned for west of the interstate, 50,000 vehicles a day at this intersection. And then again, they had this vision of going, okay, if we have this lake, what can we do? That wasn't our vision, that was theirs, but we had traffic and we had houses.
Well, Sioux Falls, you just learned something. So this corner on 26th and Marion, the second busiest corner in Sioux Falls.
Right, yes.
So probably the second busiest in definitely South Dakota and this region.
Yeah, I looked up really quick before I came here, and 30,000 vehicles a day is really hard to attain. That's a lot of traffic. And there's 7 roads in Sioux Falls that have that much traffic, 30,000 vehicles, and 6 of them are right around this area. I mean, the other ones, there's East 10th Street and the interstate. Okay. But all the other 6s are 12th Street, 26th Street, 41st Street, Louise, Marion, Louise. They're all right here. Well, all those customers are all gathering at this location.
Well, as you know, I'm your mayor. I did not know that this was that busy.
And it's the two junctions. It's those two junctions. And when they come across each other, then you had the little Hy-Vee store. And then the Ford dealership came in, and then you had the lake for the gathering place, but then they really took it to the next level.
So in the 2015 plan, the 2040 plan, was this body of water and all the land around it, was the intention or the goal or the hope or the dream to be a place that it's turned into be, or did it evolve?
It evolved. It evolved. It was a place that we knew we were like, we want it to be something. It was going to be commercial, and we thought, again, housing. There should be more housing, and that's really what they thought too, until Van Buskirks and the Friesen family really said, we evolved it to something that we never dreamed what it was going to be now, and what it's going to be shown as today. Yeah, it's quite a feat.
I love that, Jeff. Thank you. And so it's got to be busier. We had 50,000 before, and Sioux Falls, get this project. It is certainly, as Jeff just said, it's evolved into something even bigger than what we thought. But so now, how do we keep up with this traffic, with the infrastructure, with all these things? So, is that part of the plan too?
That's absolutely part of the plan, because more developers will now say, where's the traffic at? Because that's where we want to be. Synergy draws more of those people to this area. But then, again, the good people in Public Works will continue to look at it and go, how do we improve it? But you'll never fix everything. And in your great 8 years you've been here, you try to do your best, but we'll continue to look at that. The solution that I think Van Buskirks will talk about is when we adopted our new zoning ordinance, we said we don't want to separate everybody. We don't want people to live away from where they work, and we don't want them to shop away from where they work. This area really became the location in our new zoning ordinance that says you need to do it in the same area. And as you look here, people live here, they work here, and they shop here, which was a new idea for us in 2014. That solves your traffic problem, because this new generation, these people go, I want to walk to work. I want to ride not everybody has to drive in other communities hours to work. In Sioux Falls, they can live and work and shop in the same location, which solves our problem.
Sioux Falls, no kidding. We did not plan that. But I think I was in a radio program about 2 weeks ago, and there was a caller who called in and said, Mayor Mike, I don't like it when you talk about live, work, and play all being in the same place. And this gentleman, who I guess just respectfully disagree with, he said, no. He goes, Mayor, we need to have a separate place to live, a separate place to work, and a separate place to play. And have congestion. And I said, sir, I just respectfully disagree. This time is changing. And what's interesting is that it's not just the younger generation, the millennials, it's the retirees. It's everybody. They want to be where the action is.
Walk to the grocery store, to have that social gathering place. I mean, I want to turn around and look at this place, to live here and be able to walk down and shop during the day, to have a cup of coffee, to come to this lake. Who wouldn't want to retire here? It's so beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll step off it's a wonderful place.
And we're trying to do that all around town as we're planning for the next growth, whether it be downtown, the east side, south side, this north side, which is starting to boom, and now here at Lake Lorraine.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Jeffrey, thank you so much. Hey, it's been a real honor and pleasure to work with you over the years, and I think that we plan as well as anybody. And again, I'm probably a little biased, but it's not a hodgepodge. It actually seems like things make sense as you drive around Sioux Falls, and again, the work to you and your team, and yes, so many others, including private developers, have helped make that happen.
We really work well together. That's very helpful. So,
all right. Well, we'll continue trying to learn more about development, but also Lake Lorraine and how things happen. So stay tuned, Sioux Falls. All right, Sioux Falls. Jeff talked about, just how the city gets involved in this, how we kind of plan accordingly, this live, work, and play environment that we now live in and really are trying to take advantage of. But, it does take these dreamers, these builders, these investors, to really make it ultimately happen with that public-private partnership. And I'm with Steve Van Buskert of the Van Buskert companies here in Sioux Falls. And Stephen, hey, before I ask you any questions about what's going on, tell me about the Van Buskert company. You've been around a while. It's a family affair. I know you've got other. So just quickly, tell us about that.
I'm a second generation. My parents started the company in '71, building roof trusses, morphed on to building houses and doing single-family developments and commercial developments. And my brothers and I came in about 25 years ago. We all started showing up and got more and more into commercial development as we moved along. So now we're a full-service development company. We do commercial construction, we do real estate brokerage, property management, land development, the whole gamut. Yeah.
Well, first of all, thanks for staying in Sioux Falls and your family as well as we really try to make this such a great city. But so here we are. We're at this Lake Lorraine, and Jeff talked about how we had a body of water surrounded with land in a really, really busy part of town. But then you actually said, no, we are going to build upon it. Tell me why. Was Jeff right? Does the traffic make a big difference?
Oh, traffic helped us formulate this plan. There's no doubt about it. Okay. I'll even jump back one layer back. The Friesen family owned this land for years and mined it from a gravel pit. It was just flat ground. They had a gravel pit here for years and years and years, and it lay dormant for quite a while. And they came forward with the idea, like, we want to make this better. We want to make this a place where the community can have an asset that'll last for years and years and be here beyond us, because they view themselves as caretakers. So it started with the idea that they wanted to improve the property, do something meaningful with it, and something that's sustainable. So we got together with the family and came up with a plan that we thought was appropriate at the time, which is a mixed use, lifestyle center is really what we came up with.
Lifestyle center,
and that's where the live, work, play, those ideas come together. But this is such a unique piece of property, like you mentioned. We got the traffic traffic here. We're infill. I mean, Sioux Falls is three miles west of us here. So we're truly an infill piece of property. We're next to the largest retailing area in the state of South Dakota in the region.
The Empire Mall.
Yeah, so we're the only greenfield development that was available next to all of our heavy retailing, our regional retailing. So we looked at all those things and said, what can we really do here that's going to be special and leverage the lake at the same time. So we started with the lake idea, the lake walk idea. We wanted to create a path around there that is open to the public, not closed. People could come down and spend an afternoon and skip a rock in the water and just take a little walk around and head back home. We also are really close to the bike trail system,
yes.
So it's tied into the regional bike trail system, or the Sioux Falls bike trail system rather. So you can make this part of your bike trail experience. So we knew that part of it was there, but we took the lake and the bike trail system and we started adding on things. For the one thing that we're standing in front of now is the regional retailing. This is the anchor, this is the draw to bring a lot of people over and shoppers over to this side of the interstate, because interstates are natural barriers to retailers. So
did you just hear that? That was interesting. I've never heard that. It said, so interstates, which I think is the ultimate conduit to the retail. You just said it is a barrier to.
Yeah, that was one of the.
Oh my.
That was one of the things that we had to overcome as we got people over to this side of the interstate, because for rivers and railroads and streets, that blocks a natural flow of people going from one shopping area to the other.
Okay.
So that was part of the convincing that we had to do to bring these national retailers over here, that if we brought enough of you at the same time together, that people would come over here. And if you look at the parking lot today with DSW opening up today, they're here and they're coming every single day. So this serves as the anchor for that, for that retailing end of it, and that's going to help spark more retailing in the next phases, where it's more pedestrian friendly.
Okay.
We have the boutique shops, we have the dining, we got the hotels showing up in the next phases. So this brings the people over there so they can start to explore the broader area of the lifestyle center.
Lifestyle center again, kind of that live work place. So have you? Stephen, it looks like you've done that. We've got places to live, certainly places to, I'll call this play. For a lot of people, people are buying stuff and really enjoying that, but they're also working. You got cars for sale over there, and so it's come together.
Yeah, it really is. That's what the principles of Shape Sioux Falls. You had Jeff on earlier, and that's really what this project is the embodiment of what Shape Sioux Falls intended to be, which is bringing all those things together, getting them in close proximity, so the people at Cars for Sale or the Total Card folks that are moving out here, so when they they're on lunch break, they can spill out of their office, they can go take a walk around their lake and improve their health and maybe grab a quick little bite rather than just going to a cafeteria and eating lunch and not getting the benefits of being outdoors. So that's part of the special part of the the work part of it. The living here, people are going to live close. We've got condos. Developer is doing condos on the lake and selling over here right next to the retirement community where Grand Living's at. People want to be close because they can live there, and in the evening they can go out and maybe get a drink at 5 o'clock, or they can get a coffee in the morning, or if they need something over here at the retailing, they can walk over here to retailing without getting in their car. And that's where that blending those things together, where it's convenient for people, gets people out of the cars, gets them on their feet or on their bikes and moving around, and it makes the area lively, and it provides some energy with people moving around.
I've spent 8 years trying to help educate, coach the folks of our town about how we are evolving as a people in America, and I think in a good way, in terms of we want to be where there's other people and activity, and so it sounds like that's the trend, and you've done it here. You've done it here, Stephen.
Yeah. We're trying to bring all those principles into play. Trying to get people together, making a place for people so they feel like they're a part of it, making a place where people can explore around and enjoy the environment. It takes a lot of expertise to get that done, and we tapped the city planning department heavy early on and throughout the process. Like, hey, we're thinking about this. Yeah. Is this a good idea, or what more should we be thinking about? Because they've been educated educating themselves over years, and landscape architects and architects and land planners that you tap and to develop these concepts. So it's been quite a journey and fun to learn along the way. But that is exactly what we're trying to do, is bring it together, make it a community again. Jeff was talking about the downtown areas, did that in the early phases of Sioux Falls, and as the town was smaller. Well, the town's getting bigger, so we're going to have more pockets where people want to gather and be, and we believe Lake Lorraine is definitely one of those.
Stephen, every now and then I'll hear a citizen will say, those developers, they get everything they want, and hands in the pocket of the developers, the guy, and I hear that stuff, and it just it's disappointing, first of all, and it's not fair. But do you always get what you want from the city of Sioux Falls? There's quite a bit of push-pull, I know.
There's a lot of push-pull. No,
did you hear that, Sioux Falls?
Yeah,
he said there's a lot of push-pull.
Yeah. It is. I mean, this development. I mean, the city. What's interesting about this development, the city had already long since paid for the infrastructure around this development. So this is
infill.
Infill. So this is a very low-cost development, for the city of Sioux Falls.
Very good. Because we had already done it.
You'd already done over the years, getting to the 3 miles out. So very this good. Is on the roads past there. So so this is really low-hanging fruit as far as public infrastructure dollars go. Okay. But beyond that, we really didn't get anything from the city, other than the planning support and good partnerships and advice, and helping us through the process, and all the regulatory things that are necessary to make a development go and a city go. It's all private dollars that everybody sees out here. So we build the roads and we give them to the city to maintain, and that's part of the covenant that the city enjoys with developers. But no, it's we want things and we need things, and we try to show a good plan, and there is some flexibility within the zoning ordinances and the city engineering design standards that allow you a little bit of flexibility, but there's not a lot of wide latitude, and staff always is looking to help us out as much as we can that make common sense. But staff is always taking that 100 years from now, what's this going to look like, and how's this going to be for the guy in my shoes 100 years from now, because they're trying to foresee the problems and short circuit them. So it's a push pull. So you can't. Rightly so. Developers get frustrated because we prefer to have our way all the time, but the city's looking out for the whole community. The city staff being.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for saying that. Yeah. Now, maybe the question that everybody's wondering about, Stephen, and that is, okay, I'm in the middle of DSW, Home Goods, Hobby Lobbies there, So how do you get these monster businesses with really good reputations and I guess what everybody wants? How do you get them to come to Sioux Falls? What happened? Tell me.
Well, the big tool is there's a big convention called Recon in Las Vegas every year, and everybody's there. All the developers are there, all the retailers are there, and everyone's there trying to figure out where should I go next. And so like a Home Goods or a DSW, they're looking over the entire country, the entire landscape. They're going to open 100 stores this year, and they're saying, is Sioux Falls good, or is Austin? Does Austin need another DSW, or Nashville? They're stacking us up against everybody.
Okay.
So what we need to do, and it's a team effort. Kristen Zuger and Mike Van Buskirk, my brother, went down there and did that, on behalf of our team, down there. But it's a team effort. So the first thing we need to do is go down there and educate them on Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls is where you need to be for your next store. And if we can make that story meaningful enough to say, okay, I'll take a look at Sioux Falls. What do you got? And
so you did that with a Hobby Lobby. You did that with a DSW. That was a step in the process.
That was definitely a step in the process. We got to get them comfortable with this community first. They look at the demographics and all the factors that they consider successful for Sioux Falls. And the one thing they look is our population is very small, relatively speaking to these other communities. And, our median income isn't there. And actually college graduation rates is a factor. And we're lower than some of the other communities. So they look at those things and all the other things that they look at, and to stack us up. So that is a challenge to get them enticed to even bite in Sioux Falls, but it took 2-3 years to really get them to say, yeah, we'll come to Sioux Falls and participate in this project.
Stephen, you told me about a survey, and I don't know if it was a survey you did or how, but you said 2 of the top wants that people wanted to they were 2 of the stores that we now have here. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, if feedback, I mean, as we're unveiling our marketing or out on the social media, it's like, what does everybody want in Sioux Falls? Yeah. And Home Goods and DSW were the 2 top choice.
Really?
Yeah, so we're super pleased to have them here, and you can see the reaction. Here we're on a Thursday afternoon, and people are streaming in and out of the door, I'm sure, behind us to the DSW. But the interest in these 2 stores is unbelievable.
Okay.
The new ones beyond that, you got Ross Dress for Less here. Marshall's opened up new to this market. Now Hobby Lobby's got a bigger, better store, and Carter's. So new ones. Hobby Lobby is the only relocation. Other than that, they're all new stores. But they're going to be fun, and they're good draws for our community.
What? Probably my last question, but I know it's one that these folks want to know. So what is the maybe the next store or 2 that people in Sioux Falls are just, I don't know, they really want? What are those? I'm a Cheesecake Factory guy, so P.F. Chang's cheese. Sorry, Sioux Falls. I wanted that. Trader Joe's.
Yeah, exactly.
Are those the 3?
Yeah, those are. Yeah, and those guys just aren't coming to Sioux Falls. So we get that a lot. We get that a lot. Yeah. And
well, then let's talk about that, because this mayor, I mean, if I could have made it happen, I would have wanted a Cheesecake Factory here, a P.F. Chang's, 2 of my favorite restaurants. Not that I don't like the ones that we have here. Yeah. I'm the mayor. I should say love the ones that we have here. But you just said something that was interesting, and the people of Sioux Falls. So why aren't they coming here? Why won't they?
It's demographics. It's just going back to that, what the cut is, and those national retailers, they look at it and they say, if Sioux Falls has enough of of these factors, we'll come, and we just don't. I mean, it's primarily population.
Okay.
And I think Trader Joe's is primarily logistics. We're on their end of their logistics lines, but for the restaurants, particularly, it's population.
Very, very good, Stephen. Thank you. Well, again, I could talk to you all day about this, but I maybe on behalf of the city of Sioux Falls, well, thanks for dreaming, along with the Friesen family, taking this piece of land. How many acres is it? How many is it?
It's about 98 acres, all told, with a 17-acre lake.
All right, so about 100 acres, right smack in the middle of our town, where we had built completely around it, plenty of infrastructure, but yet it was pretty much sitting empty, other than probably some people trying to do some fishing. And now it's just amazing what's accomplished. So thank you, Stephen, and as well as thanks for educating the people of Sioux Falls and everybody else watching just how this happens. So keep it going.
All right, appreciate you coming out today. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks, Stephen. Thank you. All right, Sioux Falls, now that we know, how this land kind of got developed, and we were talking about people really wanting to live, work, and play here. Well, guess what? I found 3 great people who decided to play a little bit today on a Thursday afternoon. And please, just who are you folks, and where are you from?
Well, I'm from Lenox, South Dakota.
Thank you.
And my sister's from Colorado.
I'm from Denver.
Flew in.
Oh my God! Welcome. So glad to have you here. Thank you. And your first name?
My name's Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Dawn.
My mom lives in Sioux Falls.
I'm Vera, and I live in Sioux Falls.
Well, Vera, so Vera is the Sioux Falls girl. I love that. Thank you, Vera. But I care about you two too. So
You've been demoted.
You're hanging out with your daughters.
Yes.
And you've been. First of all, did you tell them? How did they find out about this location here today?
Because I did live at Lake Lorraine at the retirement.
You did? Okay, and then you told your daughters, hey, there's some big things happening.
Yep. There's big things happening here.
We talked shopping. So, yeah, we took the day off and we're just hitting the stores. Mom's been here many times shopping since they've opened.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I got the Colorado girl, the Colorado daughter.
Yeah.
And are you originally a Sioux Falls person?
Nope.
Where are you from?
We're from Michigan originally.
Michigan.
And then we've all sort of spread out from there.
So were you surprised, though, that now Sioux Falls has...
You have a DSW, because we've had a DSW for quite a while, so it was big news when Sioux Falls was getting a DSW. My mother called and texted, "We're getting a DSW.
We're moving up in the world.
And I'm like, it's a nice store. So
It is.
they're getting a lot more of the name brands we see, or the big stores we see in Denver. They're coming to Sioux Falls now. Kirkland's, another one that you're getting in that we've had for a while. That it's pretty exciting. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now you're from Lenox. So
I grew up in Michigan, and I got married to somebody from South Dakota, so I've lived by Sioux Falls for a long time. Yep, so shop in Sioux Falls all the time. Come to Sioux Falls.
well, I thank you. So, what in your mind? You're from out of town, so what do you think that we still need in the Sioux Falls area?
Oh my goodness, you're getting so many things, like she said. Like, I'll go to stores. I have a daughter in Minneapolis, and I'll be like, "Oh, I wish we had that store." And now, like, Kirkland's coming, and the home store that we just went to today. Yeah, you've got them. Yes, thank you, thank you.
Well, I love it.
Yes, and we do too, because we'll go see it at other places, but then we can't shop in our own town for it. So greatly appreciate it in this whole development area. Like, who knew all this land on the interstate? How many times did I go by this? And I'm like, I said that driving here, I didn't know it was such a huge area back here available for development, and the Pretty Lake, it's awesome.
Steve Van Buskert, one of the drivers in terms of making this happen. It's 100 acres. It's about 100 acres.
Well, my husband farms, so.
So you know what 100 acres is? Yeah. I mean, and you're right. It's kind of hidden out here. We drove by it all the time, and
Ignored it.
yeah,
Did.
yeah.
True. Yeah. You know, Lowe's kind of brought it to light a little bit, but still, you never went back here. And it's like, as we drove from Lake Lorraine and from where my mom used to live, it's like, oh my God, there's a new building. What's that? Well, what's this business? And it's like, I didn't know that was going up. It's just awesome.
All the car dealerships too. You guys are getting out here. I
Yeah.
can't believe the new Ford. It's just ginormous.
People are still buying cars and trucks, aren't they?
Always.
And the medical, Vera having stuff close by. I love that. It's all about location.
Now, Mom, sounds like did you want to be where the action was too? Is that why you kind of decided? Because we talk about these young people, the millennials, they want to be.
Than we do. We go online because we work full time. She's like, I need to go in the store, and she goes out every day and drives and goes a little bit of shopping and looking around.
Yep.
She's the one that tells us what's happening in Sioux Falls.
Thank you.
Yes.
My new marketing person right here. I love it.
I think it's just to certain age groups, because people shop at all ages.
Well, but now you were living you wanted a place where you were.
Lake Lorraine, the retirement community, and where I had signed up 4 years ago finally came through, which is at Prairie Creek.
Oh, very good.
And so that was a twin home. So then I moved to that.
We talk about the millennial generation. They want to be where all the action is, but it's also the active generation. Too.
Absolutely. You want to be close to all the shops.
Tomorrow is downtown is our day downtown tomorrow, because, you know, that's her generation. Everything was downtown, and the revitalization in Sioux Falls downtown. So that's where we're heading tomorrow for our shopping and our day.
Coffee shop she's found out for us.
She scopes it out.
Sioux Falls, you didn't see this, but they did want anything to do with this interview.
No, we didn't, because we ain't seen on camera. Can you just do it from the...
But you've been in the Lennox daughter here. Turned out to be just a great ambassador for Sioux Falls. Thank you. Thank you.
All these neighboring towns support Sioux Falls. You think it's just people living in Sioux Falls. Go do a radius of probably 50, 60 miles in any direction, and we're all coming here for a lot of our shopping.
Well, in Sioux Falls right now, we've got the state boys and girls basketball tournament going on too.
We saw that when we went out for breakfast. We saw a big bus by a hotel, and we wondered what...
College basketball, high school basketball. So yeah, they'll be coming here too.
My husband went to that. Awesome.
Solid. I love it.
Imagine Dragons is coming to Sioux Falls, and my husband's like, "Are you buying a ticket?"
Just take the mic.
I'm like,
Just take the
I
mic.
sing all
I'm
their
moving away. Go
songs.
ahead.
No. I sing all their songs. It's like, you got to get tickets. It's like, Sioux Falls is getting Imagine Dragons. I told him, no, it's true. It's true.
She is taking over the show, and I love it. I love it. No. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, first of all, for saying such positive things about Sioux Falls. And thanks for entrusting your mom here, too, and letting her, stay here. It's been an honor to serve you. I really thank you.
You've been a wonderful mayor.
Yes.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
She was talking about you last night about how much you've done for the town, and you're at your term limit, and you can't run anymore, right?
Darn it. No.
Say something. She don't talk politics. It's a subject we can't discuss in our family because we have differing points of view. So if she brought that up, it must have been important. I'm telling you.
Well, I thank you. Well, this is my last listening and learning session. I started my campaign 9 years ago doing these listening and learning sessions, and I said if I won, I would keep doing them. So I've been doing them every month now for we're on 8 years, and this is my last one. So, well, thank you for your kind words. And who would have thought we'd see each other today?
I know. We were talking about you last
run
night.
away from run. They'll be on the news and we'll look bad.
Well, you look great. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you. Take care.
Nice meeting you.
Sioux Falls, is this fun or what? Thank you for letting me do this over the years. All right, let's find some more people. All right, Sioux Falls, that was a lot of fun, but I think we're going to have just as much fun now. I've got 3 sisters here. Grabbed them and said, "You've got to tell the people of Sioux Falls, kind of what are you doing out here? How did you find the Lake Lorraine today?" And by the way, this is Mom. Mom, introduce. Just say your first name.
Chris.
And Chris, who are your daughters?
This is Savannah, Sadie, and Sophie.
Savannah, Sadie, and Sophie. First of all, welcome. So, you brought your daughters out to do some shopping. Are we growing up? Are we growing up as a city? We got some pretty decent stores out here.
Yep, we do.
Very good. Where did you do your shopping before?
The mall.
The mall. And Sadie and sister, where did you guys do your shopping before?
Yeah, the mall or downtown.
The mall or downtown. So you are going downtown to shop now?
Yeah, we already did.
You did? Oh. So you went downtown, did shopping there, and then came out now to Lake Lorraine?
Yep.
Okay. Are you going to go to the mall next?
Maybe.
This is what we want right here in terms of generating sales tax revenue. I love it. Can I ask you, so what did you think of downtown? I mean, I don't know how old you are, but we certainly have evolved quite a bit, at least over the last 8 years. What do you think about downtown?
I think it's growing. It's becoming more fun, I guess. More places to go.
Would you ever live down there?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
Yeah. And your sister?
Would I ever live down there?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably not. And what did you think of downtown today?
I liked it.
You did?
Yep.
Do you go downtown quite a bit?
Yeah, I work down there.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So working, playing, shopping, and potentially living someday. And Mom, do you go downtown anymore?
Yeah, I do. She works down there, so I go see her sometimes.
Okay.
Go down and lunch with my friends.
Okay. So we got a new DSW, and do you travel? Do you go to other DSWs?
I have been to other DSWs, yes.
Okay. And so is this a big deal having a store like that here?
Yeah, I think so. It adds to Sioux Falls.
It adds as well. Okay, great. Great. Are you a college graduate or where?
I'm a college graduate. I actually live in Fort Worth. I'm back home visiting.
Oh, fantastic! Fantastic. When did you leave Sioux Falls?
5 years ago now. About 5 years ago.
Okay. And I was in San Antonio, and Cindy and I and my daughter Kylie, we moved back. So it's good to have you back home. And just be honest, any thoughts of maybe moving back someday?
I would love to move back when I want to settle down. I want to be around my family, but I like Fort Worth right now for just my young professional life. So, but Sioux Falls is a great place to be raised and to raise a family. So,
well, thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. And thanks for letting me, bother you. Sorry, I know, and your daughters. I appreciate that. Girls, where do you go to school?
I go to Colorado Christian University.
Okay, Colorado Christian. Oh,
yep.
Very good. And
Roosevelt High School.
Okay. Well, it's good to have you, all here, and again, your sister said she may move back someday, and so we'd hope that you would consider it too.
We'll see.
Very good. You're getting ready to go to college?
Senior.
You're a senior.
Yep.
Well, good luck to you. Yeah. Do you live on the west side of town here? You do.
And I both grew up on the west side of town, so we're kind of stuck. We just like it over here.
Can I just the west side? The west side alone is one of the fastest growing communities in not only the Midwest, but also it's just exploding. It's evolved. What do we still need on the west side? I know when I was campaigning 9 years ago, they wanted access to the bike trails and things like that. We've made some of. Thank you, and it's going to get better. We're going to open up another one too.
Cool.
Yeah. So what are we missing on the west side?
Oh, I don't know. I love the west side. I don't know if we're missing anything. I mean,
Good,
there's
good.
name brand places we would probably like Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or something like that is, of course, what we'd like. But, whether we have the population for that or not, I don't know.
Okay.
But I love it over here.
Well, and I tell you, yeah, you have all the restaurants. I say I live closer to the southeast side, and I'm going. You guys have all the restaurants. A lot of them out here.
Yeah, I mean, we don't travel to the east side very often. I mean, I go to the gym on Minnesota Avenue, and that's about as far east as I get.
As you go.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. How long are you in town?
Till Saturday.
Till Saturday. Are you going to go to the downtown for the parade or anything like that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Not sure.
What do you do when you're in town? What's a must-do thing other than hugging your mom, hanging out with your sisters? What's a must-do thing that the Fort Worth girl wants to do when she's here?
I get my hair done here. You get somebody you like and you stick with them.
I get it.
Josiah's. It's
been
new
there?
now,
Isn't that new?
but
Yeah.
we went there before too.
Good.
What else do I do when I'm here?
Shop.
I don't know. I don't really.
don't
No, that's not.
These two sisters, are they the shoppers?
Or that. I don't know.
All right. Well, welcome home. And again,
Do yoga.
oh,
AMT. That's one of my favorite things in Sioux Falls. Very unique. Amy Miller's yoga studio.
okay.
Or is that North Louise?
South.
South Louise.
So yoga. Do you do yoga in Fort Worth?
And we don't have anywhere like Amy's Yoga Sculpt. It's a workout and yoga combined.
My wife does yoga as well. Now I got to tell, I don't know where she does it though. I'm embarrassed to say that, but well, I love it. Well, thank you. Well, again, Mom, thanks so much for doing this interview, and make it a great day today too. Yeah, keep shopping, okay? Okay, and welcome home.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Sioux Falls, again, so much fun. We're out at Lake Lorraine. It's a new place to live, to work, to play. It's a 100-acre piece of land that really many people didn't know about. I mean, we drove by it on the interstate, but now, my goodness, it is one hopping location. There was an article that was just done by our local paper where they talked about the hot corner. That's out there at the new Super Walmart. That's doing incredibly well. Lake Lorraine's doing incredibly well. Dolly Farms, the mall, and so many other places. I am with Darren Ketchum. Darren is the director of community development and just doing a bang-up job. We stole the guy from Metro Communications, where he was just doing a great job. And Darren, I've really enjoyed working with you. So first of all, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. It's been a lot of fun, and it has just been fast. I can't believe it's almost been 2 years already.
Well, thank you.
8 for you.
And well, that went by fast enough. So yeah, but a lot going on, Darren. So here is that lake. By the way, Sioux Falls. Here's the lake, and then all around us is this development that's occurring. So Darren, let's talk development a little bit. How are we doing? What's next? What's the next big what do you think?
Well, we've got a ton of opportunities in the pipeline. We've just got our first deal about to open out at Foundation Park with Wind Chill, just a juggernaut out there, and we're hoping those folks just achieve the greatest success, and as they're going to open in May. And so we see more deals out at Foundation Park, but we have a lot of opportunity right now, and we're getting some opportunities that, we always talk about once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and we talked about the rail yard redevelopment as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Well, soon you're going to start actually seeing the rest of the tracks and that dirt being taken up out there. And we're going to see, hopefully, those first designs coming out that we're going to see transition that once thriving industrial rail yard into a mixed-use destination for downtown Sioux Falls with housing and work, the whole live, work, play opportunity.
There's again Sioux Falls.
Absolutely, and it doesn't stop there. So we've got 10 acres there. Sioux Steel's got 10 acres of private development that they're going to make into something. You have a 100-year company like Sioux Steel, and they understand that the greatest and best use for their property, their investment, is different today than it was 100 years ago. And so they'll transition that space over the next, I would say, next few decades, because what we all want to see is something great. They want to do something that is a legacy for their family, for their company, and for our community. And so it's just really exciting to see that. You have Gage Brothers.
That's another one.
Gage Brothers, another 100-year-old company they made a $40 million reinvestment in Sioux Falls. And at the heart of it, they're going to have 30 acres at the intersection of I-29 and 12th Street that, again, is going to transform from a heavy industrial use into something where we'll be able to hopefully shop and maybe live and play. So.
That was only a couple of them, Sioux Falls, that Darren talked about, but these are monsters. They're monsters. And Steve Van Buskert, he talked about the Friesen family and how they own this land and how they wanted, part of their legacy to do something, even better with it. And yeah, you're right. You've got Gage Brothers. You've got the folks at Sioux Steel that taken these pieces of land that have just been in their families forever, and now they're going to redevelop them or repurpose them.
Absolutely. We see just so much value in that. From a city perspective, certainly we find it very appealing that, Steve, and you talked about it, but we have infrastructure to serve the site on day one. So we're not having to figure out how do we rearrange pieces in our city's capital plan to put in the necessary infrastructure to support it. And so it's just fantastic that we're able to do that. We see a higher and better use. And it's transformational. It's one of those things, you talk about your community and making it the place that people want to live, because we know people are choosing where they want to live, and then they'll find a job. Yeah. And so we're really trying to take advantage of these opportunities and do something special. We're focused on making it special. We don't want average. We want to have the highest standards that we can. We want people to make a big investment in our community, and but we want it to be different as well. We don't want it to be the same as Omaha or St. Cloud or any of these other communities. Sioux Falls is going to be its own thing. We don't have to copy the blueprint from Des Moines. Right. And so we're going to do something special, and I think we have something that a lot of communities, lack. We have a development community that while they compete at the highest level, they're very complementary in terms of bringing developments together and that provide value, whether it's retail space, and they may partner with somebody else to do some hospitality or some living or some just even commercial space. And so we see those collaborations happen in Sioux Falls, and I think that's what makes development special here. And Stephen, if you don't mind, Steve Van Busker just came across the road. And just very, very quickly, we're standing around the lake. And how big a lake is it?
It's 33 acres.
So 33-acre lake. Let's just quickly, and we'll just kind of pan around. Let's start with living. We've got retirement community or...
Yep, Grand Living Retirement Community. I think they're about 180 rooms is what they are.
Then we're going to brand new condos.
Yeah, Aaron Cremvita's building some condos in there. They're selling for like $450 to $750 is about what they're selling for, and that's going to follow all the way down that hill that you can see over there. So that'll be full of condos.
That was $450,000.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Not per month.
Wow. Okay, so that's That's a big investment, but boy, we are. So then you've got cars for sale.
Yep. So Cars for Sale is over here. So they were actually one of the early adopters out here, and Grand Living was as well. Okay. You know, he got it early on. You know, you have to try to explain what are you doing out here. We took Sean Kaufman out here, and he got it. He's just a visionary guy, and without him, this place would not be the same.
Total Card
is
coming out.
They're under construction
over there
down here. So
okay,
a couple hundred jobs down over here.
And then you've got a hotel planned, I think, or something.
Yeah, there's a hotel planned over here in the north end.
Okay.
Kind of over here by the sandbar, just right south of the Vera urgent care. Wow. That's not an urgent care, excuse me, emergency room. They got a full emergency room over there.
Brand new car dealership with Ford.
Yep.
We've got the Lowe's.
Yep, that was there before.
And then, of course, what did you call this center?
This is the retail anchor, you know.
Retail anchor.
Yeah.
Retail anchor.
So this is drawing that regional traffic in, because if you go across the lake over there, where Sandbar and Topper's Pizza and Moe's Lighting or Moe's Furnishings over there,
okay,
that's a lot of local like neighborhood stuff, and more for the west side of Sioux Falls. You know, the big national retailers. That's the region. This is the 200-mile radius stuff behind me. You know, and then over here, then south of that, our next phase of what we're developing is really going to be that pedestrian friendly. We're going to have the restaurants on the lake, sitting right here in these trees behind us, so you can have, come and dine and sit right over top and look at the lake.
Sioux Falls, I'm going to be done being the mayor. I'm still learning so much stuff, Stephen. That was interesting. You said the west side, that is for the west siders.
Yeah.
And then you said the retail part, that's a 200-mile radius.
Right, yeah.
So that's got its own target.
Yep.
And then you said now you're going to have a place where people can walk to, bike to, jog to, whatever over there.
Yeah, and that's more to get out, when you're out in the environment and explore along and go from store to store, and that's where the boutiques and specialty shops are going to be at. Really nice outdoor environment. It's going to be heavily landscaped and places to sit down and relax. So you can stop, you can enjoy yourself as you walk around the environment over there.
Love it. All right, Sioux Falls. It is spring is coming, but it's cold. It's cold out here.
It's still March. There's still ice on the lake.
We're trying to be so tough. President Kennedy, I don't know if you know this. President Kennedy, he never wore a coat, and he always would wear, like, I don't know if he had long johns on, but you never wore a coat and just wanted to look, always good. Well, here I am. I'm trying to look good, but I'm getting cold.
Yeah, after a while, it adds up, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. How are we talking, Brad? Are we slurring our voices a little bit here? But thank you so much, Stephen. I really appreciate it. And Darren, really been an honor to work with you. Thank you. Just so many things going on. 5 years of record-breaking construction. Certainly, this is part of it. And I don't know what the investment was, Stephen. I don't even know if you want to say, but it had to be a monster.
Yeah,
Say monster.
Monster. Yeah, I don't even know where to start adding. Yeah.
I can't imagine. Well, hey, real quickly, is there going to be a bike trail?
Yes, we're standing right next to it. So we got the West Side Bike Trail done from Grand Living over to Sandbar last year. So that's open to the public. And yesterday the sun was out. It was a beautiful afternoon. There's 20 people out on the bike trail immediately. So that's open for the public and all done. And then as these sections of the lake on the north and the east side get done, those will get wrapped up. So there'll be another section done in here this year, but the west side is open for the community now.
Thank you. I love it. Keep dreaming. All right, Bradley, let's go. It's warmer near the buildings. Let's go over there. Sioux Falls, we got out of the cold, and I think I'm still thawing out just a little bit from that wind. But yeah, I'm in a very, very comfortable spot right now here at Lake Lorraine. We're at one of the places where the active generation is choosing to live, and we've talked about that quite a bit today. This live, work, and play environment. And my goodness, walking down the hall, Judge Dick Bogue, and just what a real honor to see you again. And Judge, you were a Canton resident for a long, long time.
All but 10 years of my life.
All but 10 years of your life, and now, Judge, you've decided to come into town, come into Sioux Falls, and Judge, what was part of that decision making?
Well, part of it is we lived in a 100-and-some-year-old house on a quarter of a block, and it's a 2-story, and it was getting to be work. Sure. And my wife and I saw the ad in the paper for Grand Living, so we made a tour on February 2nd. And we wrote them a check and said, we're coming, picked out our apartment. And then we told them we needed time, and we got some time to get the house on the market and things rounded up with the kids, and moved in on June 9th.
Why, Judge, you and your bride of what, 54 years you said?
Yeah, 54 years.
So you and your bride of 54 years, you probably could have moved anywhere in the country, as many folks of the active generation do. Why in the world did you stay in Sioux Falls and South Dakota?
Well, we like South Dakota to begin with. I have 2 children who live in Sioux Falls. I have a granddaughter that's still in high school here. I have a son, Eric, who was Senate Majority Leader, if you remember, for a while, and lives out near Faith. And so we can see them get together. Yeah. And when we saw this facility, we thought, well, this is all we need.
It was probably about 5 years ago, Sioux Falls was named one of the top 5 retirement communities in America. But we were the only one, Judge, that actually had snow of the top 5. And Brad and I were just out in the wind a little bit. But you stayed. So the weather isn't the best. What you talked about family, which is important. Any other factors in terms of why you and your bride of 54 years stayed in Sioux Falls?
Well, partly because we found Grand Living.
Okay, good place to live.
It was a nice view of some water, some trees, and we have everything here we need.
Did you catch that? Everything that they need. And Judge, we've been talking about kind of this new generation or the new wave is to be at a place where you can live, work, and play at really the same location.
Yeah.
That happens here.
Yeah, except for the work.
Except for That's outstanding. Except for the work. Yeah. Do you, well, I know the spring is coming and the summer's coming, but do you expect then, this lake, you're going to kind of trek around it and do some playing, do some shopping, whatever?
Whatever. I said, at our age, too, we aren't accumulating things anymore.
Yes.
So only what we need to buy.
Okay.
We come here, we have 3 venues to eat in. We have an exercise room, a swimming pool. Right. We have this really pretty library. You can come down and get a book to read anytime you want.
Retirees are coming, or the active generation, they're coming to Sioux Falls all the time, and they're looking for that place. There seems like there's a lot of options in Sioux Falls right now, which is a great thing, and you've all got those things that you are looking for. I'm just glad you picked Sioux Falls, a Judge.
Well, it was close by. I spent most of my years in Canton, practicing law and being a judge. And we have lots of friends, but a lot of our friends have either passed away, moved away, or had to move someplace. Okay. And so we figured we would move where we have children. And the weather is fine here. Yeah. I'm sorry, but the change of seasons is a pleasure, not a drawback.
Judge, you've been living now in Sioux Falls for a while. If you could change one thing about Sioux Falls, what would you change?
Traffic.
No kidding. Earlier on in the show, Judge, we found out that the corner right here at Marion and 26th Street, it is the second busiest corner in all of Sioux Falls.
41st and Louise, yes.
41st and Louise is number 1, and this is the second busiest right here.
Yeah.
So there is some traffic here.
Daughter lives down south of town, on South Park, down past the corner of 69th. You keep going, and a block off. And I was coming home last night, and the sun, of course, it's setting. So visibility is difficult, and everybody's headed home. You couldn't imagine how many cars can line up to get onto 41st Street off the interstate. Yeah. And,
And
I expect you, before you leave office, to put in a very expensive and wonderful transit system.
Before I'm done?
Yeah.
Judge, with about 60 days to go, my apologies, my friend, but well, Judge, thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And thanks so much for choosing Sioux Falls, of course, and love the fact that you stayed and the positive comments and that traffic thing. I don't know if it's going to get any better, but we're trying to stay one step ahead of it. That's for sure.
You should take a trip down to Miami and down to the business district. They have an overhead tram system.
Okay.
An elevator takes you up, you get on a car, and you can go almost any place you need to. And I'd love to see something like that in Sioux Falls.
Better transportation.
Yeah, well, where you don't have to drive. Although one of the perks of living here is they do have a nice Lincoln out there with a chauffeur that will drive you around.
Well, it sounds like you're doing just fine, Judge.
I recommend Grand Living.
Thank you. All right, Sioux Falls, this tour of this Lake Lorraine development's almost done, but we couldn't leave without talking about we've seen the living, we've seen some of the working, and yes, some of the playing, but there's also this play aspect where you have these restaurants, these bars, these other service centers where people that are living around here or coming into town, they want to go to a place. And I'm at the Sand Bar and Grill, and Chad, I'm with Chad McCurrio.
Correct.
Chad McCurrio, who is from Sioux Falls. You've been here since the opening of the Sand Bar, now 3 years.
3 years tomorrow.
3 years?
Yeah.
First, you said you were from Aberdeen, is that right?
I was born in Aberdeen.
Okay.
Yep. Now I live here.
How many years you lived in Sioux Falls?
Ooh. That puts my age out there. Yeah. Since I was 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've stayed in Sioux Falls, made your career here, and now you're helping us to build Sioux Falls with this retail establishment. One of the busiest parts in all of the Midwest, right here on the west side. This is part of it. How busy does this place get?
We're capable of being super busy. We're still kind of this little hidden gem where a lot of people haven't, they didn't know where we were or heard of us until a lot of this development got done, and now they're able to, come from the other side of town because we're just as unique as each one of those stores. There's not another one of us, and there's not another one of those anywhere. So,
I'm sure you haven't done a survey, but if just your gut, who are the people that are coming here? Are they residents of the west side over here? Are they coming in to play like these South Dakota State graduates, or what's your gut say?
It's definitely local, but we do get a lot of new traffic, a lot of new faces from the new development coming in. We get a lot of business from when there's events at the event center. People coming out for a couple drinks or some food before a show, that kind of thing.
And we are, we're not attached to the event center area, but you definitely do get business when we have a Gar show or Metallica or whatever it would be.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Absolutely. All the time.
Sounds good. What is it something that we still need around here on the west side that would maybe even help, your business or this community even more?
I don't know off the top of my head. We have a little bit of everything right now. I guess easier access to things, especially even a development like this. A lot of people have to come in from side streets to get in. So, I don't know that the road's any option to be bigger, but, for turn-ins like that. But
everybody wants more roads, faster, wider, smoother, safer. Oh my gosh. Sioux Falls, you're going to hear this during the mayoral campaign about all the things that people want, but I'll tell you what they want. Roads are key. So yeah, thank you, Chad. Appreciate that. We've got a bike trail that's coming out here. We've got more businesses coming out here. I think there's actually a hotel that's going to be built out here.
I'm actually one that's going down there, and then another one right across from here. So that'll be really good too.
Well, that's certainly going to make you busy too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, Chad, thank you. Big day today. I know it's beginning of NCAA men's and women's tourney. So yeah, I'm going to meet some of your guests here, and
all the way down from Watertown. So enjoy that.
Well, let's meet them. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Sioux Falls. I think this is officially going to be my last interview as your mayor when it comes to this listening and learning sessions I've been doing now for for at least 8 years as your mayor and 9 years when I started to do this. And I've got Carrie and I've got Scott, Watertown people that came to Sioux Falls, and it looks like you brought a ton of good people with you. So Scott and Carrie, first of all, what are you doing in Sioux Falls?
We are just here to enjoy your fine city and watch some basketball and enjoy our spring break with our kids who didn't have school. So, and do some shopping. We're going to
Shopping. Yep.
Okay. So, because I know you have TVs in Watertown. Yeah. I know you've got other establishments in Watertown, but I think Sioux Falls, it was that magic word, the shopping. Yeah. That was the kind of the ultimate draw. Is that right, Carrie?
Definitely, and things to do. We entertain going to the tournament tonight, the AA tournament, or we're going to be here at the Sandbar watching some Jackrabbit victories. So a little bit of everything.
Ah, very good. Mm-hmm. Scott, have you come down to a event center, concert, or bull riding, or anything like that?
Multiple times. Working for Premier Bank Card, most definitely. Getting the drive from Watertown, oh yeah.
Very good.
Summit League tournament, there's quite a few activities down here.
Very good. Are you guys going to Metallica?
I am not going to Metallica.
Anybody? It's sold out in about 11 minutes, and so yeah, I
looking for tickets. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, very good. So you're all from Watertown, is that right? Okay. So why did you folks all come? Please tell me your name, Miss.
Jenny. Same. What the state AA tournament, and to do some shopping and just to be with our friends and family. So
we're here at Lake Lorraine, and we were talking about some of the new stores that we now have at DFW. For example, Marshalls and those others. Is that really one of those drawing cards that get you to come here? These new stores? Anybody?
I just think the shopping, the eating, the everything that there is to do down here. There's concerts, sporting events, you name it. There's a lot of things to do in Sioux Falls, so it is a big draw. And for a short drive, so yeah, it's good to get away. Yep.
Short drive, that's an hour and a half, hour and 15.
Yep. So easy trip and satisfy everybody of all ages, and so yeah.
If there was something that we still needed in Sioux Falls, all right, Watertown people, if there was something that we still needed in Sioux Falls that would take us to an even higher level, any thoughts? What do you think, Scott?
Division 1 sports now just need a professional sports team. Might need to get a little bit bigger, but you can get there.
Well, we're growing. This is okay, Watertown folks. Here we go. I'm going to sit down for this. I don't know if you can imagine this, but since I've been the proud mayor of this great city, and that's 8 years, we've added the city the like size of Aberdeen in only 8 years. Does that? I mean, so you want us to get bigger, but we're growing pretty fast, Scott.
I like it right where you're at right now. It's perfect. Yep, easy to get around in, lots of stuff to enjoy. But if we could add like a professional baseball team, something of that nature, that'd be great.
Sioux Falls, there was a gentleman over at the residence where it's the retirement home, the active generation home, and he wouldn't go on camera. But I wanted to kind of give you a little perspective. He moved here from California, Orange County area, and he actually called me when I was running for mayor. His name is Bob, and he remembered the conversation. And I said, Bob, why did you call me when I was running for mayor? He goes, well, I wanted to get your perceptions on growth. And this is kind of interesting, but he's been here now for a while, and he thinks that we're growing maybe even a bit too fast. And so, that kind of that perspective as your mayor, we want new things to do. We want new places to shop. We want to be where all the activity is. But yeah, how fast is too fast? And Scott, you're a young buck, or a young arrow, sorry. Young arrow. I'm a young buck, now I'm the Yankton boy that, yes. So, but you just said, maybe it's even growing a bit too fast. And so, I don't know, thoughts?
Well, if you've grown to, the last 8 years is the same size as Aberdeen, it's grown pretty quickly. Yeah. But obviously jobs drive that. So you got to fill those positions, so you need the people. It's pretty simple.
Well, thank you. And we do. We have 5,000 job openings right now. Young people, we have 5,000 job openings right now. So if you're looking for a good place to live, we'd love to have you. But thank you. And what was that? Go ahead.
I'd like to see an NCAA regional here. That'd be awesome. Men's.
All right, come here. Tell me your name.
I'm Dan.
Dan, and you're from Watertown too?
I am. Yeah, I'm from Watertown.
Dan, say that again. One thing that you think would take us maybe to a even higher level?
I'd like to see Sioux Falls get a NCAA men's regional here.
Yeah.
If Omaha can handle it, I would say Sioux Falls can handle it.
Well, we actually tried to get that with the help of the Sports Authority and others. We did bid to get at least that play-in game. You know, now they have the first series of play-in games, and we actually thought we were going to get it. Now the NCAA they decided to stay where they're at least for now, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen. It's not going to happen on my watch. I've only got 2 months to go. But it's going to happen. I really believe it. Were you you were at Summit League, Turney?
I was not.
You were not.
I was not.
Oh my God! They closed down the interstate. Oh.
Yeah, it was all weather related. But we've gone to NCAA regionals 5-6 times.
Yeah.
And we've had to go to Des Moines and Omaha and St. Louis. I'd rather come to Sioux Falls.
Thank you. I love it. Hey, real quickly. Do any of you fly out of Sioux Falls?
Sure.
You do? You have? Did you used to fly out of Fargo or Minneapolis before?
Minneapolis, but usually we come here.
Did you used to fly out of the cities though?
Yeah.
You did? Oh, hey, hang on. Say
Okay.
that again.
So we try to fly out of Sioux Falls when we do because it's a lot shorter of a trip for us, and it's always been good flights. I've never had an issue with Sioux Falls Airport. It's always been good.
You're hired.
Always been good. Yay! Yeah, there you go. There you go. Also, while I have this mic, I'd like to say, give a shout out. I'd like to give a shout out to your downtown. Like your downtown is awesome, and what you've done downtown, and how you've developed that and made that a nice little area in and of itself with the entertainment, the restaurants, all of it. Can't say enough good things. Well done. There you go.
Well, thank you. When I was running for mayor 9 years ago, I started my campaign in downtown Sioux Falls, and I'm telling you, it wasn't dying, it wasn't dead, but we were really struggling. And yeah, it's the place to be now, isn't it? Yeah.
Having the pavilion down there, all the restaurants, the aesthetic value that you have just on your main street there, I just love it. I think it's great.
We're going to have 50 free concerts at the Levitt Pavilion now in downtown Sioux Falls. That's also going to happen here during the summer months. So yeah, that'll give you another reason to come by. All right. Hey, and young people, remember what I said. We got job openings, right? We got a vibrant downtown, plenty of fun. So we need you to come here after you graduate from probably Watertown High School, and then you'll go to college. And then you'll come here to Sioux Falls. And
he's going to college here next year because of the size of the town. Because of the size of the town, he's going to go to college here.
All right. Well, here we go. Tell me your name. Tell me.
Brennan Gabriel.
Brennan. So you decided to come to school in Sioux Falls because of what? The
Opportunities. Yep.
And things to do.
Yeah, things to do. Lots of things to do. So that'll be nice. And then right out of college, you have the opportunity to get a job, so that's pretty sweet.
Brennan, where are you going to school?
University of Sioux Falls.
University of Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls. I don't know if you are aware of this, but when people go to Augustana University, they go to University of Sioux Falls, they go to the University Center schools. One of the biggest reasons they come to those universities, as Brennan just said, is that when they graduate, they're gonna find a job. Right,
and that was the main thing that drove me to come here. So
Was that reputation in Watertown, or how did you know that?
Just like when I met with the academic counselors, they told me that they have a 98% job placement out of the business program there, so I thought that was pretty intriguing.
I would say so.
I would too. And so that's what really made me come here. I had two decisions, two schools that I came down to, and Sioux Falls just stuck out to me a little more because of the job opportunity, so should be pretty fun.
And you are graduating from Watertown High School now?
And I'm going to try to play baseball in Sioux Falls too, so yeah. Should be cool.
That's why they went the professional baseball team over there.
Right, yeah. Could be cool. So,
Brennan,
get a job right out of college.
You will.
Okay.
Brennan, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you all. All right, Watertown people. Again, just want to say thank you for driving an hour and a half to come to Sioux Falls, our town, spending your hard-earned dollars, and really talking up Sioux Falls and the good things, as well as maybe a final thought. You're sharing your family, you're trusting the care of your son, not only to this mayor. Well, I guess Brennan, you're on your own because I'm done. But the next mayor. So that. Thank you. We really appreciate that. And any final thoughts, anybody?
Go Jack.
Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble now. But thank you all. Thank you. Well, Sioux Falls, I just wanted to thank you. These last 8 years doing these listening and learning sessions, I've just truly had a blast. And the folks behind the camera. The Brads, the Murphs, the Joels, and I want to thank them too, because it could not have happened without them and the team back at the city. But yeah, it's been 8 years of trying to stay in touch with the people of Sioux Falls, listening, learning along that journey, and then sharing it with all the people that have watched the show over the years. I started my campaign 9 years ago. It used to be called the Whisk and Chop, with those listening and learning sessions. And I did say that if I was elected, if I earned the honor to serve you, that I'd continue it. And my goodness, thank goodness we did. Because we've learned a lot, and we've met so many valuable people, and created some great memories, and learned about not only the good things that are happening in Sioux Falls, but yes, also those challenges that we have faced over the last 8 years, and that we still face as a city today. And Sioux Falls is not perfect, but my goodness, my stepfather Earl, who's no longer with us, at least here on Earth, I'll never forget, he told me once when we were out in the garage, he said, Mike, he goes, always try to leave things better than the way that you found them. And that always stuck with me. And I've tried to do that as your mayor over the last 8 years. And I think that we definitely have left things better than the way that I found them eight years ago. And the next mayor will do the same thing. That'll be, his or her goal. And so again, thank you. And we are going to close off this last listening and learning session with you, Sioux Falls. Thank you for caring. Thanks for being part of this journey. And thanks for listening and learning. Make it a great day, Sioux Falls. It's been an honor.